Welcome to another week, another show of Hawkeyed with me, Dave O'Hara. Momentarily, you'll see our buddy James Moses joining us on screen. James was kind enough to join us for the whole show last week, talk Hawkeye men's and women's basketball, and of course, his great recollections of Chris Street, memorializing him. But this week, James joins us again. Remember, James is on the parole board of the state of Iowa, appointed by Governor Kim Reynolds last year. So doing big things professionally after his Iowa Hawkeye playing days. James, of course, an LA native, came to Iowa, played for Tom Davis from 88 to 92, and had a great career, 1,300 plus point scoring career at the University of Iowa. So James was getting it done on and off the floor, on the floor for the Hawks, and then post his playing career for the State Parole Board of Iowa. So congratulations to James. And James, let's start right there, bringing you back on and saying thanks for joining us. Great to see you again. And we're going to start with the women first and talk Hawkeye women's basketball. And then you're kind enough to join us for the second segment. We'll talk Hawkeye men's basketball. Then Craig and Stacey Schrader will close out the show with me this week, talking their Fight with Flash Foundation. They went over the $1 million donation threshold to the University of Iowa State Family Children's Hospital. They succeeded in that goal before the 10-year anniversary of their son's tragic passing. So, James, great to see you again. And how you doing, my friend?
Hey, I'm doing good, and just trying to keep a balance. And as you like to work, and many others that are on the scene but behind the scene, trying to be the best octopus, but sometimes don't have enough tentacles.
You called it pregame. You said Caitlin Clark effect could be a nice holdover effect. The joint was jumping, and the Hawkeye women, what a start, James. Had a huge lead, gave it away in the second quarter, and got down at halftime 29-28. But that second half, fourth quarter specifically, Addie O'Grady, Lucy Olson, congratulations to her. James, explain this to me. Well, don't, but co-Big Ten player of the week, but national player of the week. So go figure. But just all in all, it's all positive. Give me your thoughts and recollections of Sunday's big victory over USC at Carver Hawkeye, please.
Yeah, Addison O'Grady, what a contribution she had. I mean, she's not pouting. She's just, waiting for her time. She's a veteran, and trying to showcase and have her flowers be respected. And I think on the national stage, she really showed why her value is needed onto the team. I mean, Hannah Stolke, who got off to a good game, I thought as well. But, got into foul trouble. And then there was just that time period where it was kind of delicate, where USC was flirting with, making a run. But with the baskets that was made to contest what USC was doing to Iowa, it was nice to see Addison O'Grady's contribution. But, the star, I mean, you have to give it to Lucy Olson. Lucy Olson was the one who really showed what her game was like. To have three of the top leading scorers from last season with Juju Watkins, Caitlin Clark, and Lucy Olson in the building, and Lucy to be on that stage. I think Lucy really got a chance to understand what life was like for Caitlin Clark. Every game she played when she was doing that under all that kind of pressure. Jan Jensen, I mean, that was her moment as well, to be in front of her mentor, her predecessor. Luckily, she was, sitting on the sidelines, courtside with David Letterman. But anyway, Jan Jensen just really got a chance to, as she shared, which was beautiful to see when she was in the huddle and she shared with the team, this is our moment. This is our moment. Let's go out here and take this. And really just doing all those intangibles and all those things that really help to uplift those players. And they were inspired. There was just a lot of good things. The fans in Carver, unbelievable. I mean, I thought the roof was getting ready to come off because of the excitement that was in the arena. I mean, it was just, really getting a chance to really, just show why Iowa Hawkeyes are so beautiful. Why it's it's just the land and beautiful land and the land of the gods.
So, James, a couple of big games. Again, one by the time this show airs, the fans will already know, but then upcoming on Monday at Nebraska, and then huge games upcoming. Again, as I mentioned, UCLA down the road here. But, James, they got to hold the business here. The Gophers tomorrow night, and then on Monday at Nebraska. So, yes, kudos to the Hawkeye women and Coach Jan. 3-game win streak now, but 2 huge games upcoming, James, in this upcoming week.
Yeah. I mean, at Minnesota, it's going to be tough because, I mean, those fans are going to be up there. Minnesota is doing very good this season, and they're going to be looking to try to get a win, especially since Iowa just recently won nationally against USC. And then to mention the next Monday game when they play against Nebraska at Nebraska, there was a lot of controversy after that game because of whether Caitlin Clark was going to, be the scoring leading champion there or wait to preserve it to have her do it in Carver and stuff. So there was just a lot of misnomer that was going around. I think we saw a feisty Lisa Bludert at the time in the press conference. And, there was just a lot that was at stake during that time period. And Nebraska didn't put the best taste in their mouth at that time period. But nevertheless, we are about to prepare for those two pivotal games. And it's nice to have the momentum that Coach Jan Jensen and their coaching staff have with the Hawkeyes in preparation for the Minnesota game.
Well, you mentioned, a little sweetening to the pot. Again, James, as a former Hawkeye player, these border rivalries, the Minnesota game, of course, and the Nebraska game, and all the heightened the proximity. But then, like you mentioned, to quote Lisa Bluter, this is BS. She used another word. But, the usually mild-mannered Lisa, that was a wild, wild scene last year, to your point. But again, James, 5-6 in the Big Ten. Hawkeye women, though, seem to definitely be on an upswing here. 15-7 overall. A couple of big games upcoming. Good luck and congratulations both again to Lucy Olson and the Hawkeyes and Jan Jensen. But James, let's take a pause here and we come back for the second segment. We'll talk Hawkeye men's basketball. Thanks for staying over for two segments today. Again, we'll close out the show with Craig and Stacey Schrader from the Flash Foundation. But James, great stuff, and I'll look forward to talking to you next segment. You ready to roll?
Hey, sounds good. Looking forward.
All right. Same here. So looking forward to it as well. So for James Moses, I'm Dave O'Hara. James, former Hawkeye basketball, playing great. We'll be back with more Hawkeye in just a few moments.
Hawkeye is brought to you by Better Edge, your ultimate social betting marketplace. With no VIG, you're bound to win more on every bet on Better Edge. Founded by Hawkeye alum James Siles and proud Iowan Greg Kajewski, Better Edge delivers an unmatched betting experience. Plus, what's not to love when they're committed to supporting charities and children's hospitals near you? Join the action now. Sign up at betteredge.com/Hawkeye and get $10 to start winning more today. Better Edge, where your social betting means your bets go further and you win more.
Welcome back to Hawkeye with me, Dave O'Hara. Momentarily, you'll see our buddy James Moses, kind enough to join us for two segments today, as he joined us for the whole show last week. This week, talking Hawkeye men's basketball and women's basketball. We talked women's basketball in the first segment. Now we'll talk to men's basketball, about the men's basketball team. And James, tough one last night as we record this on Wednesday afternoon, February 5th. Hawks lost at home last night, Tuesday night, February 4th, to the number 7th ranked Purdue Boilermakers. Hawkeye men now at 13-9 overall, 4-7 in the Big Ten Conference. And James, we now know, or we knew going into the game, but we didn't know last week when we recorded this show last Wednesday, that Owen Freeman was going to be out, not just for the game, but for the rest of the year. Had surgery on his shooting hand, on a finger on his shooting hand. So he's done for the year. So now it falls on Seydou Traore, Riley Mulvey. Maybe Chris Taggio will get some time as working in Evan Bronze. It's going to be a 3 or 4-headed monster trying to play that position in the post. Laje Dembele. But all those four names I mentioned, James, not a lot of production last night. 50 of the 81 points. Hawks lose 90-81 to Purdue, number 7th ranked Purdue. And man, they stepped on the gas in the second half when it was tied 36 all at halftime. Yes, Peyton Sanford had 23 points in a good game. Yes, Josh Dix had 27 points in a good game. And then Brock Harding had 11. But other than that, you had guys chipping in, Price Sanford and the other guys, but 3 double-digit scores. But James, they've got to get more out of that post position, that 5 position. And without Owen Freeman, where does that come from?
Well, it comes from those guys that you mentioned.
Again, you being a former Hawkeye great, scored over 1,300 career points. You started most of your career, though. But the intriguing thing, and Lisa Bluter's talked about this, as has Jan Jensen, in reference to Addison O'Grady or other players, and Fran has talked about it in the men's game. The toughest position, James, because you're starting, you're in the flow, you're ready to rock and roll. But that guy coming in, the 6th, 7th, and 8th man, one of the first 1 or 2 guys off the bench, you got to be ready. You don't know when that's going to be, and you don't know what they're going to need from you. But in Evan Bronze's case last night, he was ready. Couple of steals, couple of blocks, rebounds, a tip in here and there, ran the floor well. you don't know what your minutes are going to be and what you're going to be required to do. So that seems to be the toughest position. Like I said, you being a starter most of your or all your career, you know what you got in front of you. But as a guy like Evan Bronze or even Mulvey for this case, even though he started last night with Seydou Traore, some of these guys are just going to have to be ready to give maximum output, even if it's for 7 or 8 minutes or 10, 12 minutes, James.
Yeah, and I mean, what better way to have a better example than Drew Thelwell, who didn't initially start. He came off the bench. He waited for his opportunity, and then when he got his opportunity, he showed us why he should be a starter and has continued to be a starter. He is one of those players that provide the spark. He uplifts people with spirit. You can see his passion and how he plays the game, and you want that to be infectious. And you can see that with a lot of the other players where they were trying to showcase the emotions. I thought for what Iowa was able to do, despite Purdue having tough games at their home, to have those days off that led into the Purdue game, I thought they did a lot of things to prepare good. But Purdue is ranked. They've been ranked nationally throughout the season, and they showed why they are and should be ranked. And it was a tall task for Iowa, especially finding out about Owen Freeman being out of the game and losing him for the season. Making those kind of adjustments once that information is, at the forefront and is etched in stone. So that's an adjustment for those players, especially those new players, because a lot more responsibility is expected out of them. And you just hope that they internalize that information and internalize the task at hand, and they're able to come out and give us their best. And hopefully those guys will be able to do what example that Drew Thelwell was able to do for Iowa.
James, that's wonderfully stated by you, because with your experience, playing at Iowa, but you talk about what's upcoming for the Hawks. And I don't want to live in repose, but you need to, what's the old expression? If you don't learn history, those who refuse or who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Hopefully that's not the case, because just a little over a month ago, again, by the time this airs, a lot of people will know the result, or if they see it online after the fact at DaveO'HaraSports.com. But if they miss it on television or see it on television, the Wisconsin game has a noon tip from Carver Hawkeye Arena against Wisconsin, who's now top 20 ranked again, James. And a little over a month ago, they got walloped, the Hawks did, in Madtown, in Madison, 116-85. That was with Owen Freeman. So what I like about this is, as you just said, maybe this will rally the troops and they can say, hey, because I don't want to get into by the time we record our next show next week, the Hawks will be on an East Coast swing playing, getting ready to play Rutgers and Maryland. But I want to stay focused into what's ahead of the Hawks here against Wisconsin. Wisconsin's now playing really well again, James. When they played them a month ago, Wisconsin was kind of up and down, and they walloped them. Now Wisconsin's back on a roll again. We know what Greg Gard always has for Fran and the Hawkeyes, as you're smiling with me here. The Hawks, I don't want to get into moral victories and stay close and play close. If they can come out with the same energy, and James, you've talked about this many times on radio with me, and you and I'll be doing the pregame show on radio before that Wisconsin Hawkeye game on WMT. News Radio 600 WMT, the flagship station for the Hawkeyes. But James, you got to get a great start in the start of the game. And last night it got them against Purdue. Again, we record this on Wednesday, February 5th. They had a slow start to the second half, James, and Purdue came out guns a-blazing. The Hawks have to have a great start to the game and have to have a great start to that second half. Otherwise, Wisconsin's going to do to them what they did a month ago to them.
Yeah, and Wisconsin is tough. I mean, they've had some good wins on the road. They're just finding a groove. I mean, unbeknownst to us, that loss that we suffered was at the start of the year 2025. Who thought that was going to be indicative of the season that we're partially having thus far? So time to get back into the lab. Got a few more days to prepare before Saturday. And hopefully we can come out with the spark to showcase a different style. Maybe Peyton Sanford can come out and be as hot as he's capable of being, because when he sees red uniforms, for some reason, he can knock them threes down. And I'm just hoping, like he did against Nebraska, I'm just hoping, and like he did against, Utah.
And Indiana about a month ago at home, yes.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that when he see those red jerseys come into Carver, that he's going to help light it up and everybody else is going to be able to contribute.
So for James Moses, I'm Dave O'Hara and Hawkeye. We'll be back to close out the show with Craig and Stacey Schrader from the Fight with Flash Foundation. We'll be back with more in just a few moments.
You don't have a lot of time to make decisions today if you want to be out front with the newest products. This is Joe Mershman from Mershman Seeds. Did you know that we're one of the first 2 companies to offer Enlist E3 soybeans in the United States? And because of that, you benefit from it. Here's Ben Pieper to tell you more.
With Enlist E3 soybeans, we have a front row seat to the highest yielding germplasm that's on the market. That allows us to focus on the things that matter to you, making sure you get what you ordered delivered on time to ensure the highest yielding soybeans for your farm.
Contact your local Mershman Seeds dealer today. They care and are ready to help you.
Welcome back to Hawkeye with me, Dave O'Hara. Momentarily, you'll see our good friends Craig and Stacey Schrader. Yeah, that Craig and Stacey Schrader, Fight with Flash Foundation. You can find them on social media, website as well, but it's fightwithflashfoundation.org. They did it. And I'm going to bring you on camera. I got to say, congratulations, Craig and Stacey Schrader. You did it. You made the $1 million mark in less than 10 years. Guys, congratulations. Great to see you, and thanks for taking time again. How you guys doing?
Oh, we are doing awesome, and it's so good to be back to be on the show. So
yeah, it's so great to see you again, and we are so excited about our awesome milestone that we made.
yeah.
Well, that is fantastic. It really is. And again, always great to see you guys, and thank you. So, Craig, we'll start with you. We always do the finances. Not that I'm pigeonholing you guys, but Stacey, if you want to jump in, please do. But I'm going to talk dance marathons with you, Stacey, and other events upcoming. I got the big one as we record this on Wednesday afternoon, on February 5th, the University of Iowa Dance Marathon, the big one coming up this weekend. So we'll talk about that with Stacey. But Craig, first things first, let's dot I's, cross T's, count zeros, and all that kind of good stuff, and commas. Again, congratulations. Talk to us about it.
Thank you. No, it's been an amazing journey, and when we started this, and I go back to when Flash passed away in 2015, and the donations that were given at his funeral came up to $22,000, and it was just fitting for us that when he made his wish to continue to help people, that we took that money and started the foundation. That was our first donation, and then since then, it's been grinding away, doing events, and we have been surrounded by such an amazing community, and not just in like Iowa City area-ish, but the expanded community in Iowa and surrounding states. And people continue to give and support and to show us love and to really, really honor Austin. And it's amazing. And so we finished a really great year with golf, with having over $60,000 that we netted from that. The bourbon event was in November, and we netted $40,000 from that, and then we had a couple of our garage sale, and we had a community event at Liberty High that we raised a few $1,000s from selling merch. And at the end of the day, we were able to write another check this year for $150,022, which got us right over $1 million. And I'm telling you, it's just such an amazing feel, and I'm just so proud of our board, for all of the effort and people that are on our committees, and all the effort that they do, the sweat and to the tears that come along with being a part of the foundation, and our Flash Baseball Club, who actually raises some money, and they're out in the community giving back, and volunteering, and I'm so proud of what they do, and it's just truly amazing gift. And I tell you, we did the check at the hospital, and we got a bunch of pictures, and we got to speak, and we got to hear from the doctor, and then we got to go over to Kinnick, and we got to be up in the big suite, and they had us on the Jumbotron. And they had up at the Children's Hospital, they had thank you on the windows. And they had a big lightning bolt in one of the big windows. And we all talked about, why don't you just keep that there for all year long? So that would be great. But no, it was just really, really, really heartfelt. And they did a really, really cool thing. I'm wearing the t-shirt, and on the back of it, and they had this on the Jumbotron that day, 1 million ways to win the day. And I'm like, man, I'm like, what marketing person came up with that? I just want to give you a big hug, because that's genius. And it just warmed our hearts. And, for us, when we do things like this, is that, I can't express the gratitude that we have, but what I also can't express is that the unbelievable feeling that we get when we get to give money and give gift cards to the families, and it's just like it makes us emotional. And I wish I could share that with everybody that follows us and everybody that donates to us and volunteers for us. I just wish I could give that feeling that we have to them and everybody. And I try to explain it. I don't know if I really do a good job, but it's just truly a blessing.
Let's talk dance marathons, and great to see you again, Stacy. Thanks.
Yeah, so excited. Yes, this is revving up our dance marathon season here this weekend. Friday we will go to it's so fun. Like at the University of Iowa, the walk-in ceremony that they do, the welcoming ceremony is amazing and so fun for all the families, all the kids and again, the dance marathon, they just make you feel like you don't to these kids, like they don't have cancer. They just they have fun with them. They do so many things, give them hope. It's the best. And so we will have that Friday night, and then we'll speak to a small group on Friday night as well. And then on Saturday morning, we'll speak to the entire group of dancers. So, and it's just, we love being around our dance marathon people. When we meet anybody and they say they've been a part of dance marathon, we are just already drawn to them and just love their hearts because they chose to be a part of a student-run organization that does amazing, awesome things for a family.
You're going to Dick Vitale's upcoming again this spring, right? Is that another big event upcoming for you? Talk about that in Florida, please, if you would.
Yeah. We get Dick Vitale's always that first weekend in May. And yes, we'll be going over there with McCaffrey's to enjoy another wonderful weekend of, celebrating more people donating to give back to for pediatric cancer. So it's incredible with the V Foundation. But yeah, so in our free time now, which is, our daughter, our youngest, is a freshman at Drake. And so this will be our first year to we'll go watch her softball season is starting now. So we will actually be going this weekend after our dance marathon. We'll head up to UNI to watch some softball. So that will keep us fit this spring too. So
little indoor softball in February in Iowa. I love it. And Craig, you and Stacy and I talk about this often. Beside Brad and Darcy Schaefer from the Click Manor or Tiffin area, Williamsburg, and the sad passing of Tate Schaefer a couple of years ago, and their great work, and of course Fran and Margaret McCaffrey with their work with the pediatric, as Stacy mentioned, the Cancer Foundation, with what Patrick McCaffrey and Austin were in side-by-side hospital beds at the time. Patrick, survived and Austin did not, but you guys have been kind enough to arrange interviews in years past, and check it out online, folks, at DaveO'HaraSports.com. But Craig and Stacy were kind enough to arrange interviews I'd done a handful of years ago with Fran and Margaret McCaffrey, and then also with Patrick and Connor McCaffrey, talking about their experience. And Craig, that's the neatest thing, that you guys, your affiliation with the V Foundation, Jim Valvano, of course, tragically taken from us. I can't believe I'm saying this to you two, over 30 years ago. And then Dick Vitale, of course, going through his own battles and winning, and in his middle 80s now. And every May, as Stacy talked about, you guys go to Florida for that big event and see all the luminaries of the ESPN and sports world, but the world at large. This seems to touch everybody, unfortunately, Craig, cancer does. But again, it's great that you guys get to at least see how everybody else is doing and battling this. But again, as we close out with you talking about that Florida trip upcoming with Dick Vitale's event for the V Foundation, it's just great stuff.
Yeah, it's unreal. And for we go down there, we've already go down there, and he's done a grant in Austin's name, and which has been great. And we were able to speak to 1,000 people in the room and share parts of Austin's story and share Patrick and Austin's bond. And so Patrick was there when we got to speak, and Fran and Margaret, and it's amazing. The McCaffrey family they've got the biggest hearts, and we can all know that the passion that he has when he coaches, but coming from Postville and knowing our coach Dave, our coach definitely had passion as well, and I appreciate it, and that's who I'd want to play for. But in the cancer fight and everything else, so much passion, and I can totally see like their connection is so strong with Dick because of Dick's passion to make a difference in the fight versus childhood cancer. And we're just drawn to that.
Thanks to you two, but thanks to all the viewers and everybody out there. Again, folks, remember, Craig and Stacey Schrader, Fight with Flash Foundation, but it's Fight with Flash Foundation all over social media, but fightwithflash.org. Check it out. You'll be glad you did. And Craig and Stacey, hopefully I talked to you before you go to Florida in May to the Vital event for the V Foundation. But if not, definitely when you get back. It's always great to see you. Thanks again, and take care of yourselves. It's great to see you. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Dave.
Appreciate it.
Truly my pleasure. And so for Craig and Stacey Schrader and James Moses, and to you, the viewers, and my production partners at Better Edge and BetterEdge.com, Greg Tyesky and James Siles, that's all from us at Hawkeye. Thanks to all of you.